Um, Okay, since we have a quorum, we're going to begin the meeting. So it starts at 4:01 approximately. And the first order is just we want to make a change to the sequence of the agenda today. So we need to have a vote on that to approve that we can modify the agenda sequencing. So I'd like to just I can make a motion, right? Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we vote to approve reordering the agenda today to make it comply. The reason for doing so is there's going to be another meeting in this room at a little bit after 5. So we have to make sure we're able to make the room available for the next group. And we have to have an executive session at the end too. So we got to stay to our timeline. So anybody want to move that we can?
I'll move that we take the section F in the agenda, which was reviewing the OSP maintenance plan, and move it up behind the report from Page on network services.
Okay.
Trevor, would you second that?
Second.
Okay. And this just Trevor, just so you know, because you're Zoom and we have to have 3 technically in person, there is an amendment that allows us to do this, but all your votes have to be audible so people can hear them. Okay. Good. So, I'm in favor.
Yeah. Any discussion? Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And so
Quick one. Excuse me for a second, Barry. Can you send me the agenda? I didn't get the agenda for today's meeting. Thanks.
Can't right now, but sorry.
Oh, okay.
I can go.
Maybe he can email.
Let me see it. Take a picture and text it to them.
we will get it to you, Donna, shortly. And so
Roll call.
so a roll call.
Well, I'm in favor.
Okay. This is Rex Waller. I'm in favor.
Trevor Blackford in favor.
Okay.
Thank you. Motion's passed. So we've got our agenda reordered to and then we're going on to the minutes.
Okay. I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
So move.
Trevor, second.
Seconded.
Okay. Roll call, Trevor.
Aye.
Okay.
Yes, Rex Waller, yes.
Yep, so that's approved. Okay, the next meeting is a report from Paige on network status.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yes, you. Couldn't be. Then who?
Get off your phone. Well, I was gonna send Donna a picture of the minutes,
Sure, Donna. Hi, Donna.
So we got.
Hey, Janet. Yeah, Trevor put it in the he put it in the chat. So I have the agenda now. Thanks.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah, I didn't really look at the agenda either. Portal's listing 717 active. I'm not sure, but there might be some more. I mean, some accounts got canceled recently, but we also added some, but the number still sits at 717. I know Tina has a spreadsheet that suggests it could be as many as 730, but at any rate, right around 717 is where we're at. We've got another 4 coming along that are in the works right now. And then there's a few more that are gonna get added for the IEP, which we'll talk about that as well. So right now, we still have, now with the ONTs, we've got 6 new ones and a couple of used ones. I just got a quote on getting a bunch more used ones, and he's checking on pricing on new ones. He said he knew of some new ones, so we'll get a price on that. So one thing we should look at, I think Barry, you and I spoke the other day about I've got a quote for it, so if we get a number, I'll make that order happen.
Okay.
The 7-Elevens, we've got a bunch of those. We've got 17 of those and a couple of used ones to test and verify. UPSs, we're in okay shape. Will, you're out there, right?
Hello, hello.
The Calix jumpers for the inside, do we have to order those through you guys? Cause it's a Calix product?
I can see if there's a third party one, but it's possible. We may have some too because we don't do very many of these ones anymore. So I can also check with David to see if we have any.
Yeah, see about that. I'll follow up with you.
You're talking about the 3 meter pre-terminated.
No, the 25, the 50, 75, and 100 foot, the SEAPC jumpers for getting from the enclosure to the ONT.
Oh, okay. You could probably just get those wherever. I wouldn't see any reason why you had to get those through Calix. They're just a SC plug to another SC plug, right?
Yeah, but true, if we got something else, I mean, the ones we've always had, not that we have to, but the ones we've always had are Calix. And the way I get it is you gotta have the Calix relationship, the Calix license to buy the Calix stuff.
Oh, can you send me the part number so I can look it up? Because I never actually bought those from Calix before.
All right, yeah,
So,
I'll
yeah, I think we may be able to find them cheaper someplace else.
yeah, well, I bet. The short of that is we're very low on those, and actually, now that I think about it, I forgot to put it on there, we need jumpers for in the pop building too. We're getting down to like 10 of those, so for patching and out there, we need more. So I'll follow up with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, those ones we can definitely get someplace else. Those are just regular jumpers. But let me see what the other ones you're talking about are, and then so I'm pretty sure we can get those cheaper.
Sounds good. All right, UPSs are all right, batteries, we got some and went through a bunch, and I'm gonna order some more. Drops were in pretty good shape there, we keep ordering and keep staying in a good shape. Pole hardware, Barry and I met on pole hardware the other day. Makes a couple of things in here, the next step is the supply storage area. Janet made the old health center annex building out back, which is a container available. So at the moment, I've moved almost all the OSP stuff from upstairs in the storage to out there, which makes life a lot nicer. So all the pole hardware is out there. And some of that, I think we will wanna look moving forward of just how much more we wanna have on hand, and some of that depends on the relationships with crews that are coming, who's doing the work and so on. So at the moment, we have a bunch of pole hardware and we gotta figure out just what else we're gonna want. We don't need to get into the details of it, it's on the list, but all the stuff has been stored all over town, is now getting consolidated, it's cleaning up. About the only things outside of here, the ladder, which is up in my office area, and the strand, which is up at the transfer station, but most everything else is right here, which definitely makes my life nicer. Bucket truck's doing good, the storage, we've been working on that. I know, talked with Janet and Barry and others, there's a possibility of getting some storage area here, but at the moment, nothing, it's just moving forward, I think. General workload, like I said, there was a bunch of installations just came up, and the transfers, those are still pending. This last quarter, I've been running on other things, didn't get to any of those. I'll be working with Barry as soon as I can get to it in the next few days here to give some of my idea of the prioritization of some of the outside plant work that's gotta happen, so. Microwave, we're in good shape on that, everything's sitting pretty still, no real problems. Same,
Except there's no spares for the 700, right?
well, yeah, I mean, but that's not new, that's correct, I mean, we could talk all kinds of details about what the situation is, things, but indeed. We have the old spares for the other 2 links, and 700 is unique with its own, just 2 radios. And if we have a problem, then we're somewhere like a 5 to 14 day period while we're waiting for them to send us another radio and have it all programmed and set up and all that.
Okay.
Fiber burns and other outages, it's also been nicely quiet, hopefully stays that way for a while. There's something coming down the road that I think is gonna get to where I think it's fortunate, not my headache, it's gonna be your headache, GWI, the board here. There's the IEP is gonna start bringing some buildings online to the duplexes. So there's gonna be questions of policies and procedures, how do we handle that? You know, is there 1 ONT in there, 2 ONTs, who's signing the users agreement, is it the property owner IEP, is it the renters or the owners? I mean, there's gonna be some questions to resolve, and then questions like, are you gonna have 2 ONTs in there or just 1 ONT, separate networks? I mean, this is coming at us pretty soon, so you're gonna wanna answer, how do you handle it? Cause our current policies and procedures can't handle it, so when this hits, it's gonna skid to a stop.
What's the IAP? What is that?
Housing Affordable Properties, so they're putting on they're putting online a couple of duplexes and a 3-bedroom house, and there'll be more coming behind it. And in addition to that, there is an apartment building out here in the island that already is doing a similar thing. It's just the only one, we just kind of looked the other way with it, and I presume there's gonna be more of this coming with, you know, the pressures of housing out here and looking for creative solutions, so we're definitely gonna have to see how we handle that.
I'm sorry, just a question there, if I may, Janet, how do current IAP property renters, does IAP have the contract, and then the renter pays an annual fee? Do you know how that works? Because with a duplex, then if it's a duplex that's owned by IAP, and if it's the same as current renters, then IAP signs the subscriber agreement. And there needs to be 2 connections going in there. Is that 2 subscriber agreements?
Well, Tina could answer that better probably, but I know some of those IAP, some own and some rent. So it's,
Okay, I think that's the best place for us to go to find out how it's handled at the moment. And then we just have to figure out how you do it with a duplex or with a multi.
Well, that too, but some.
I mean, I think an ONT per unit makes sense. Like that's what we do in Brunswick, like in other cities, in places with apartments. Like you don't necessarily want to share a connection with your neighbor, unless you're pooling the internet. So as long as like the tenants are willing to sign a subscriber agreement and IAP is willing to handle the install costs per unit, I think it makes sense to have an ONT per unit.
I think that's some of the question there. Some of this came because representative from the IEP came and asked Tina some questions. If I understood it right, what they're interested in is the IEP would pay to get the installation done. But now the installation is a divided line. By installation, they're saying the ONT is there, it's ready. Now somebody has to activate and all the rest, so that's a different part of installation.
Yep.
And I think what they're looking for, the IEP is looking for, is that then is on the homeowner / renter, duplex owner, you know, however that's shaping up.
I think that makes a ton of sense to do it that way. It's sort of like how you would handle new construction, where once the construction is done, you've connected up the utilities, and then the subscriber like basically turns them on and pays the activation fee for the final connection.
That's aggressive.
And I'm guessing here, but I'm thinking the biggest challenge, I think, is more for GWI side on the processes for handling that and defining it and managing it, I believe, but.
I would think it would be the Islesboro town's policy, and then we would adapt to it. The way we do multi-tenant units now is the developer or the owner of the property either gets a bulk connection and then manages the connections on the inside with a switch to all the different tenants, or we do require that the entire property be wired with fiber, and then we have the tenants call us after we have an agreement with the developer that we could put, well, that would be the town, put a connection. This is what we do on the mainland, put a connection into the building, and then the tenants call us to sign up, and then we go and install their private, I guess you call it ONT. But we do require, I'm pretty sure, Will, correct me if I'm wrong, we do require fiber from each unit to be able to do that. So internal wiring with fiber.
Paige, thank you for bringing that up. I think that's something we should continue to discuss offline and talk about policy with the town and with
I think it's more of a town policy, correct? Yeah.
So we can do that offline.
Perfect. CCI, two things on that. One is, we've had a recent rash of new GWI phone requests coming, and part of that's because CCI, Consolidated Communications, has been very, very slow, sometimes like 5 weeks coming out to do a repair. And they've actually flat out told some customers, we're not gonna fix it. So, you know, some customers obviously wanted to then get a fiber installed and switch over. My personal read on that, I think they're pushing further down the agenda of trying to find a way to get off the island. But that's something we talked about last time. Whether the town wants to address that in any fashion with a rule change going on and so on. I'll let that sit for now. It's another conversation we can have offline. The positive side of the Consolidated is the poles that were dangling over there on Mill Creek Road, they finally fixed. I nudged them again last week. or earlier this week, when it was last week. And the regional supervisor called and was very apologetic about it because those poles have been dangling since December and January. And so he actually sent someone out and fixed them. But at the same time, I explained to him, they got problems all over town, and I told him about some of the different areas, and so he sent someone to go look at it, get eyes on it. So they're actually paying attention to some of their problems. We'll see how far they go with it. And I told him the full extent of all their transfers from the past construction and the rest, he was like, well, we're not gonna go, we don't have the time for that kind of thing, but anyhow, little progress with CCI. A lot of the rest on here is, I think Barry's gonna talk about, and it's the same old, so I think that's pretty much the status that's worth talking about, I think.
Okay, well, thank you, Paige, appreciate that. What I'd like to do now is move item F on the agenda, which is the OSP maintenance plan, up to be the next item, and then we'll kind of proceed down through that as time permits. So if we could get a status from Donna and Will on where the things are with the maintenance plan for the outside plant. I know you have a lot of things in the Monday program. I've been keeping an eye on that, but if you could bring us up to speed, that'd be helpful.
I think we've just frozen, the screen's just frozen for a bit.
Okay.
Hey, Will, do you have an update? I don't have an update from Thomas.
I didn't either because he was out. He's been out since Thursday.
Okay, this is gonna be quick then.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can get something from him and have him send it over when he should be back tomorrow.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
all right. Okay, then we'll move along because I figured that was going to be the longest one that we're going to have to work through here.
Yeah, sorry, we didn't have an agenda, so I would have had that, I would have pushed for last week to have that ready for you.
Okay. So next one was the DigSafe protocol. Rather than spend a lot of time on that, I've gone through the state law on that, and I think I have a pretty good understanding of it. What I will do is send my interpretation to you, Donna, so we can just kind of compare notes, and then we can come up with a joint policy that we can then get approved or whatever, so we know how we're going to handle DigSafe requests if there are any. Does that
Okay,
seem-
sure. Yeah, you can
Okay.
send it to me and I'll send it off to Will and Chris and Thomas and Frank.
Okay. Okay, the next one is the spares storage. We started to make some progress on that because Janet was kind enough to get us the container, the 20-foot container that was used by the health center. But there's also the opportunity, and we could perhaps explore that now, to get that 40-foot container from up at the transfer station. We got to sort out true ownership and what's the best.
It does belong to IMD.
Okay, so it does belong to us.
Yeah.
But then you got the logistics because it's full of.
It would have to be emptied. I'm not sure what's in it, how much of,
I think it's all the old electronics that you'll recycle, whatever it is, once a year, whenever they come.
well, that could happen sooner. But, and it was up there because that's where it was when the project was ongoing. That's where the storage is where,
Wade Guide had that,
Yeah.
and they had other containers up there.
yeah, so that's why it was left up there. We had no place else to go with it. And I'm not sure about, I'd have to go out and look where Barry, you're thinking about moving. I really can't see it behind the top building. I
Okay.
think myself, but if I saw it marked out there, maybe, and I'm not sure about going into those trees in that wooded area behind the barbecue area, I think you mentioned in that vicinity. It's not like a building going in, because I don't think we can build anything in it, 'cause that's a wetland, but I don't know if just.
Okay.
But that's something we could physically look at.
Who declares what's wetland, what's not?
Well, the DEP. But I mean, Dave, during the building here, we talked about possibly doing something for the health center in that spot versus where it is when we were looking at. And it was checked and it was wetland. So whoever went in and did the test. So we weren't supposed to use that area for anything.
It would be a good time to check now in the middle of this drought.
Okay, and in terms of logistics, if would it be better to acquire a new 40-foot container and do something with that, or a container, as opposed to making the one that's up at the transfer station be unloaded and moved and all that sort of stuff? It seems simpler to me to move, if you gotta move one, not have to move two, you know?
Yeah, and this one out here, this 20-foot one, I mean, if I sold that, that money goes to the health center.
Okay,
Because that was purchased through the CARES Act during COVID.
okay.
So, because I think you mentioned, selling it to get a 30-foot one or something, so.
Yeah, just trying to work it out.
No, I know, that's great. And I know it's only 20 feet, but, yeah, I mean, you could price out a 30-foot one. Did you think you needed 40?
My take is the 30 would probably do, okay? But we're gonna get snug in there, and if you're doing that, why not go 40 and have room to expand? You know,
So I guess if I saw how it was staked out behind that pop building. And just checking with Dave to make sure I can put it in.
I don't think the pop building,
Was that one of the locations?
That was one, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I can talk to you later, but I don't, to me, there's real challenges out there, and if we're trying to put the truck out there, I think it's near impossible, because the way to get in there is clearing the trees and coming through the preschool driveway. That's just not gonna get anywhere. And if we're gonna put the container out there, then we're walking out there in the middle of winter, that's no fun. To me, that, and there's other concerns out there, I don't think, that's just not an area to be playing. I mean, the septic is out there, there's ground wires underneath the pop building, there's a maintenance hole there. I don't think that one worked, but the one out here is ideal, but I guess the idea is if we can get past the wetlands restriction.
yeah, I guess I would just have to find out,
Yeah. Yeah,
if something could be placed in there.
yeah,
Okay, we'll continue on with that
Yeah, I
process.
just
So we
really
get
had time. I know Barry told you last week I would look at it at the end of that week, but then I didn't come to work, so it's rolled off my plate.
That's okay. It's
we'll put it back.
okay.
So I'm afraid of.
Okay, the next one is the review and possible selection of the wireless spares to do for the links to the three outer islands. I don't know if you have any additional things. We did get a proposal from Frank on that. Any other additional information from GWI on it?
No, I left Frank in charge of that to work with you guys. So I'm just looking over what he sent over to you.
Okay, okay,
That would be Frank Levine.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah, he knows way more about that stuff than I do. So I kind of just sicked him on it and let him deal with it. But
You okay if Paige and I work with Frank to get that sorted out?
oh yeah, that'd be preferred.
Okay, all right. Okay, the next item was the review the recommendations for the stuff that you were gonna try to do for the upgrades to the POP. There were some upgrades there that you recommended that we acquire and get into place so we can be looking down the road for next generation stuff.
Yeah, we were recommending. I got the wrong sheet up. Hold on. So many things going on. There we go. Yeah, we were looking at some upgraded Calyx equipment for you guys. So one of the new XGS line cards, optics, and a selection of the new ONTs and the new gateways to install for some of the new builds that Paige is doing.
Okay, and question for you. From my research, everything's gonna move to 10 gig, that's a given down the road or faster. But for our needs right here, right now, 1 gig is more than adequate. We don't have traffic levels that push beyond that. And we were kind of speaking, and from my research, which may not be correct, the real transition to the 10 gig is not gonna really happen completely. It's gonna be like 95% done in the next 3 years, 4 years. So we wondered if it would be wise or helpful to delay this upgrade stuff for right now. So we can focus more on the OSP things because we have a limited reserve of money, and then reapproach the 10 gig stuff a little bit further, maybe a year or two out from now. What's your
I mean,
thoughts
we
on
could
that?
definitely do that. The only thing that I may recommend is getting some of the new wireless gateways. Because obviously the stuff you guys have out there is rather old. Um, so getting some of those new ones with the better radios and the wider range, maybe something that we want to do.
Okay,
Especially for the larger homes that are out there.
okay, and the newer gateways are backwards compatible, so they can run at 1 gig as well?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Meaning that we could start running them right now. We don't need to make any changes.
Nope. No, we'll just have to. We actually just got these U6. I actually got one here on my desk for testing, but they seem to be working just fine. We'll just have to make sure that the model number is added correctly in the cloud, and just let people know that hey, we'll have to you'll have to let us know when you're going to be installing these,
Do
so
you
they
have,
install the right model.
do you have like a summary sheet or something of the different models that would apply to us?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can send those over.
Yeah.
and in terms of the Sienna equipment in the POP, your suggestion was to wait on that as well, right?
Yeah, I mean that thing is acting just like a huge switch. Um, so we instead of getting the Sienna box, we could get a cheaper switch that doesn't have as much licensing. Because I mean the box itself is rather cheap. It's when you start stacking the licensing on, is where things start getting expensive. Uh, but again, you guys aren't you're at 20, actually less than 20% of those links at peak. So there's still plenty of room, plenty of bandwidth to use.
Okay. Okay. Any questions, thoughts from anybody?
One thing on that, what's the world of spares? How are we with redundancy and spares on that? On the Sienna?
So the way that it was done is all your spares are hot and they're all in the pop building. So the only spare we don't have is a fan and a chassis. But we have several of those sitting in our stock room. So it's not like we can't, if something happened, it's not like we wouldn't be able to get something quickly.
When you're talking the spares that are hot, is that because of the redundancy, one link to Rockland, one to
Yep.
Belfast?
Yeah. Yeah, so the two bottom cards in that chassis are your controller cards, and one of them goes to Rockland, one of them goes to Belfast, and then just the Mux cards are also those can run without power. They're only powered so we can actually get stats off of them. So those actually can run without power.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Any other business people want to bring up that we may not have included on the agenda? Anybody? GWI, anything else?
I just have a quick question. What, I don't understand what, Will and Barry, why would you need to go to a 10 gig connection?
Oh, well, the newer ONTs, they're built like that. So they each have technically a 10 gig connection to the ONT.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
And then
we have 2 gigs to the island, right?
we have 10. Well, 10 each way. Yeah. So we have 10 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you allow customers to go up to 10,
I mean,
then you need more,
I don't know
right?
who's going to use 10. Yeah, we could use
Right.
more. I mean, we could put another wavelength in and form a lag group. We could swap it out for 100 gig. There's a bunch of different things if we got to that far. But like I said, we have monitoring on those links, so we'll know once it hits.
Starts to max, right? Okay.
Well, we check them obviously when we pull the reports, but we also have monitoring if for some reason during somebody actually used a bunch of people are using it. When it hits 7.5 gigs across that link at 75%, we'll start getting alerts for it.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, right now, the maximum that we've seen is 1.5 gigs. So, I mean, there's ample room and the island's not going to grow, I don't think, to that degree. It's going to push the need. Okay, anything
Yeah,
else?
worst comes to worst, if it did get anything like that, a lag group would be the quickest way to give you guys double the bandwidth, and that just optics and plugging things in. So that in itself isn't a huge cost.
Okay, okay. Any other business from anyone? No? Okay. I thought this was going to take longer, but it took less. So we're pretty much at the end of the agenda. The next thing for us to do is to close out the public session and have a private session so we can select replacement board members. And I need to, in order to do that officially, we have to announce,
You do a motion.
yeah, we need a motion to activate an MSRA 505-6A private meeting to select personnel.
I'd like to propose that we select an MRSA 405 paren 6 paren A meeting to discuss personnel matters.
Okay. We don't make
I
this up.
second.
Okay, roll call vote. I'm in favor.
Rex Wallace in favor.
Trevor Blackford in favor.
Okay. Well, thank you then. We're gonna close out the public part of the meeting and then do to the executive. I appreciate everybody coming and providing your input, and we'll begin the private session to get new board members selected. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye, thanks.
Okay, I'll need it too, but now all of a sudden the screen is frozen up and I can't pause the recording.
It's okay, it'll come back.
And Carrie, I think you can stay for this.
I can't.
You can't?
No, I'm not a member, but I'll come back when you're done. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought they were gonna have. And it's a public meeting again too.
It is a public meeting
I
again
don't understand why there aren't just hordes of people trying to get.
and the time is
Nobody
Oh,
knows.
4:47.
Okay. So we need to make a motion on the slate of candidates that we've selected, and then to present that to the select board for their approval and review. Or review and approval, hopefully. So I can formulate the motion that we'd like to present to a slate of 2 people to the select board. That'd be Patrick Nettles and Bruce Walker to fill the open vacancies on the IMB board at this time. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, can we take it to a vote?
Did somebody second that?
Oh,
motion?
sorry, yes, good point.
Rick, okay, Trevor seconding.
Second the motion.
Okay, so I'll vote yay for Barry.
Rex Wallace, yes.
Trevor Blackford is yes.
Okay. If there's no other business, that pretty much takes care of this.
Right, so
So we're
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Yes, okay. Thanks for keeping us on track with all the proper rules of order.
I'm getting the hang of it after a while.
Okay. And thank you, guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
We still got a lot of loose ends we're off the air now.